Good afternoon, everyone. I hope I am audible. We will start in another 5 minutes, and a few more people will join as we continue. So, thank you all for joining once again. I hope I'm audible. You can give me a yes or a no in the chat box. A confirmation would be nice. Okay, thank you. All right. So, like I said, we will start in another few minutes. Good afternoon, everyone. So we are good to start. First of all, I would like to thank everyone for joining us for today's webinar organized by Web. I hope I'm audible. Okay. All right. Thanks for the confirmation. So I'd like to also thank our implementation partners, Exalca Technologies, for joining us today. We are looking forward to a wonderful session with all of you. I am Siddharth, and I handle the product marketing side for the company. So I'd like to give a small introduction about the company before we get into today's topics. So Web is a 20-year-old company as of today. Web was initially known as Wipro e-Peripherals, which was part of Wipro itself. And in 2000, it became an independent entity. So here we actually have multiple solution offerings, as you see on the screen. One being managed print services. Then we have digital transformation solutions, intelligent office automation solutions, and lastly, we have the retail billing solutions, as you see. So I'd like to give a little bit of briefing about all the solutions that we offer. So first off, being web retail billing solutions, let me start from the bottom, wherein we manufacture billing machines for retail stores. So here we have about 2 lakh customers pan India. And now coming to the corporate side, we have web managed printing services. Here we provide printing services for 600 plus odd customers. The business here is such that we deal with printing hardware based on requirement, and you would be charged per print. So this is what we do with web managed print services, and we are now number one in India on that part. Web Solutions offers the latest range of best-selling intelligent office automation solutions. Web is the authorized distributor with a strategic alliance alongside Ricoh to sell Ricoh products in India. Here we have a wide range of enterprise digital printing, office automation, and industrial solutions on offer. And lastly, we have the digital transformation side. Here we provide 2 services mainly, as you see. One being the GST solutions and the other one being document management solutions. Now let me come from the bottom once again. Here we have document management solutions, as you see. The offering here is such that we offer tailored custom solutions with the help of low-code development platform, and also offer document management system, as the name suggests. Underneath this, we have solutions for smart content collaboration, business process automation, and remote working for enterprises. All this to simplify their business. Now, the second product being GST solutions. So as you see, here we in fact hold the license called GSP, that is GST Suvidha Provider from the government itself, and we are appointed by the GSTN. So here we provide a host of features such as the managed GSTR filing, reconciliation, data preparation and data validation, e-way bill automation, ERP integration, and e-invoicing. Here's a small overview of our customers. We serve a lot of customers from different verticals, different industry verticals. So as the agenda is for today, we are actually going to talk about e-invoice integration with SAP. So before we get into the topic, I'd like to quickly show you the 4 ways of generating e-invoice. So one is generate e-invoice directly from the government site. and generate e-invoices manually on the GST software, that is our web GST software. And two-way integration with web e-invoice and SAP ERP. And lastly, SFTP generation. So before I hand over, today we have with us Mr. Bala and Mr. Arjun from Exalca Technologies, who are our official SAP implementation partners. They will be driving you through the presentation and the demo itself from here on. We are glad to have you both on the webinar today. Mr. Bala, you can take over.
Thank you, Siddharth. Thanks for that introduction. So from the digital signature solution, this primarily works for an SAP-based instances where any invoices or any outgoing document is generated in SAP. We can add a digital signature, and then digitally signed document can be either stored to a separate file location, or it can be sent to an email, or it can also stored back to SAP DMS if customer is already enabled. So this is used along with that. When the invoice is generated, we can go with automatic signing, or there is a separate transaction through which user can see that list of invoices which are generated and select those invoices, and either one by one or as a mass they can do the digital sign, and they can also do that mass printing. So this support for an mass signing, as we briefed, and similarly like rule-based signing, where we can say in this particular plant and this document type, person A is responsible for signing. When there is a same document in another plant, we can say person B is responsible. So that way, as per your current GST signing authority, we can configure in multiple signing users in this system. And when it comes to that, from the audit side, we have certain standard report which shows like when the document is generated, when the signature is happened, and also it's quite easy for managing it. So because pretty much happens within SAP system, only installing of certificate happens through this outside SAP. So the certificate installation also, it's a kind of straightforward process. So that's how this whole solution is aligned. So we'll move to the next slide. So here from the process side, we have a known as a SAP box, and other is our document signer. This is again an on-premises component. So when in SAP any transaction, like if we take invoice as an example, the moment you generate an invoice in VF01, and this either goes for automatic signing, or it comes with a one level of approval. So once either automated signing or an approval based signing is enabled, then the system converts that into PDF file. So your same existing smart form layout or an Adobe form or an SAP script, that gets converted into PDF file. That PDF file comes into that our document signer system, and then this file gets added with a digital signature with a respective plant and document type basis. It picks up the signer and adds a signature, and signed document we can store it in SAP DMS. That in turn gets attached to that same VF0103 transaction. So anytime we go to that SAP, we can see that signed document right in SAP transaction instead of different storage location. In case if customer has any challenges in storing in SAP DMS, we also got an option. We can store it in a separate file server, or we can also drop out that email to that respective mail ID. So this system, we have it for SAP. Along with that, we also implemented some of the instances where on the Oracle ERP, and as well as Microsoft Dynamics, and any custom ERP also, because it's a API based signing. So the moment document is submitted via API, it returns that signed document as a reference. So that way it can be virtually integrated with any type of ERP system. So we'll move to next slide. Yeah. So for other ERPs, it's a similar process. The moment the business transaction happens, we add a signed document, It comes to that folder and we add a signature. And signed document, either you want to send it in an email, we can do, or if you want to attach it any cloud storage, like your OneDrive or an box or Dropbox, any other cloud storage also, if we want to store it, we can enable it, or your local file server, both will be able to save this document.
Mr. Bala, I would like to take a quick minute over here to launch a poll. I hope that's okay with you.
Sure, yeah, please.
Okay, so team, I hope you are seeing this poll on your screen. Which ERP integration are you looking at? We'd like to know. I will hold this for another 1 minute before I close this. Thank you all. I am ending the poll. Yes, Mr. Bala, you can proceed.
So we'll move to the next slide.
Okay.
So from the signing, we have a 3 option we have for when we are adding a signature, we have a 3 different option. One, we can use a USB token, which comes as either class 2 or class 3, USB dongle. So with that, we can sign it. So here, the major, the difference is in terms of token, we will not have that auto sign functionality. So this to be like user need to sign, or at the time of signing, user need to insert that USB dongle to signing it. So other 2 options we have is only a document signer. This is purchased at that legal entity level. It comes as a PFX file. With that, we can add a signature. Or the second option we have is using a HSM hardware. So with the HSM hardware also, we can do that signing part. So most of the customers primarily they choose with that document signer, because one is like it is having a less complexity, and second it is purchased at an organization level, and then third is it is managed in the server. So whereas like HSM hardware, it goes as a separate hardware we have to procure, and then this hardware also we need to have a kind of high availability setup, and then we have to again individually we have to buy the certificate. So this is HSM primarily used in the banking kind of sectors where we need a individual signature. Otherwise, document signer is something would suffice that GST related invoices and PO document. This also gives a proof saying that once it is signed, document is not tampered. And when we are adding a signature, we do all those standard sanity check. First, we will validate whether this signature is part of revocation list. Only if it is not part of a revocation list, it will move to that next one. And first we'll add a signature. Then we'll also make a call to timestamp server and add a timestamp certificate over and above this digitally signed document. So that ensures the signing is as per timestamp server, not based on the local machine or local server time. So that way it ensures more authenticity for this signature. So this is some example in SAP kind of scenario where that signature is added. In case of invoices, it adds a signature at a specific place. So this specific place also we have a multiple option. One we can say like on the every page on a particular location signature to be added, or we can go with fixed page like always in the page number 2 signature to be added. Or alternately, we can say wherever there is authorized by appears, or for ABC Limited, that particular text appears, just below that signature should come. So the moment we say our OCR system identifies the particular text and add a signature below that. So this also supports for a dynamic signature. And in case of purchase order document, we have signature can be added a multiple signature, maybe one from procurement, one from finance. How your organization wanted to configure. So accordingly, we can add a digital signature. So this signature also adds only when your all releases are completed, then it adds a digital signature. So along with that, some of the functionalities which are taken care is when we cancel that invoice, we go back and add a watermark on existing invoice with a cancelled one. Though it is signed, we add a watermark again on the cancelled invoice. So this is also functionality which is added to ensure that the signed document is valid only for an active invoices. Yeah. Now we'll move to that.
Yeah, so I will stop sharing now, Mr. Bala. You can take it forward. Okay.
Thanks. Yeah. So we'll move to that demo. We'll share the screen and we'll run through that process.
Once again, everyone, thank you so much for joining. Like I mentioned on the chat, we will be taking up questions towards the end of the session. That is once the demo is done. So any integration related questions, any implementation related questions can be put on the chat. We will take it up towards the end. Thank you.
Here we have logged into our SAP sandbox system. So we are creating one invoice document. This is a transaction, like it's a VF01. We are trying to create a new invoice document. The moment once that invoice is created, the immediate moment we will have a signed document available in SAP. There won't be any waiting time. Yeah, we can save that actually. The moment invoice is generated, in background, it will call that API and it adds a digital signature to it. Now we'll go to this signed document. We'll go to this invoice and then we will see that signed document directly through VF03. The attachment list at a header, we can see that signed document attached. And when we double click this document, it opens that PDF file, which is digitally signed with that IRN and QR code. So this generation of IRN, generation of QR code and adding digital signature, this all happens in a split second with the same API call. Here this is a place where we have added a digital signature. So we as a team will also support on that getting the digital signature with a PFX file. So there may be set of documents required for arranging this certificate. So that whole part will be taken care. And then we also given one more transaction code in case if user don't want to go to every time attachment list and print that invoice. So we also given a separate transaction code. So in this screen, either with a date range or a document number wise, you will be able to see all the generated document. And then either individual document you can do print or download it, or you can also select multiple document and you can also print it. So that way, like it also, which is currently not available in SAP, you cannot print multiple invoices at one go. So whereas here it supports for that printing multiple invoices at the same time. So that's a brief overview on this process, how it works on SAP. It's a straightforward user-wise. They will not find any differences in terms of how they today generate the invoice. But the background system will take care of generating e-invoice and then adding a digital signature. Or if the customer already implemented e-invoice, we can add the digital signature portion to that existing invoice. So there won't be any change in existing smart form or your all the layout. There won't be any changes on that. And the same process holds good for invoices and all the credit debit note and as well as your PO document. So you can pick and choose what are all the relevant transactions you want to implement this digital signature part. So we have done this demo part. We'll move to that slide.
All right. Okay. So thank you, Mr. Bala and Mr. Arjun. Thanks for the demo. So we can take up questions now. I hope that's okay, Mr. Bala.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So we have one question from Mr. Keshav. What is the use of QR code and how does it work? Whether we can scan QR code for booking purchase invoices? This is his question.
So in terms of QR code, this is related to e-invoice. It is mandatory to add a QR code for the companies which are above 100 crore, and even it is going to be for other customers as well. And the booking purchase invoice with a QR code, we have a solution for it. So when we scan that QR code and we can take it to that Miro document for booking. So this point we can have that discussion separately, because this is a more of account payable solution which takes care of this part.
Okay. So the next question is from Mr. Ganesh. How does it handle credit note, cancellation, and error handling?
So in terms of credit note, this is also one of the another document type. So that way it is already supports for that credit note and debit note or subsequent debit. All type of document type it is supported. When the document is generated, if we want to have a different signing authority for invoices different and credit note different, we can configure it accordingly. And coming to cancellation part, any invoices are cancelled One is like we are going back to that same invoice document and adding a watermark on the signed invoice document. So it became it's a again it will be a signature, but there would be a watermark saying that it is a cancelled invoice.
Okay, Mr. Ganesh, I hope that answers your question. The next question is from Satya. So first one is, upon printing, the invoice is submitted for IRN QR code to the e-Invoice portal. This retrieves that data back and affixes digital signature. So is the process correct or not?
So here our government e-Invoice gives us a two provision. One is like we can first add a digital signature, then we can send a signed data over the API, so that this became a much more secured compared to that current e-Invoice process. Secondly, in case if we don't want to affect that existing signing process, we can take that invoice data, QR code data back and add a QR code, then we can add the digital signature. So that way we can choose between either way. Either we can sign and send that signed document to API, because the whole data goes as a signed with our digital signature. And then, or we can get that final file or final output prepared and add a digital signature. So both are possible to do that.
Okay, so there's another question again. So document signer, is it API based? Because it was mentioned there will be no hardware required.
Right. So here for it is a one is like we have a API available. Through that API also we can do that. If some customer wanted to keep it in on-prem, so because generally like there is a digital signature purchased on company name, so the customer wanted to keep it in on-prem, then we need to have any existing Windows server to install this document signer component. Or if some customer prefer to go within kind of API based approach, we can facilitate for that.
Okay, I hope that was answered, Mr. Satya. So the next question, it is from Mr. Keyur. Can DSS be integrated with SAP B1?
So this also can be done. Maybe like this question, we can take it separately. We have option for doing it with SAP B1 with an API.
Okay, all right. Another question from Mr. Satya. If there is already an e-Invoice solution in place, how would digital signature solution be implemented?
So this will go over and above the digital, e-Invoice. Once that e-Invoice is we generated it, we'll be adding a digital signature to that. So that reduces that mandate what GST asked for manually signing the invoice, that gets eliminated. In a case like in a month end, we want to create a good amount of supplementary invoice. That time, instead of user sitting and signing on so many documents, now it will be digitally signed and it will go to that. So our e-Invoice will remain same. Once e-Invoice is generated, then we'll be adding a digital signature over and above that.
Okay. Another question from Mr. Gajendra. How about QR code for B2C transactions?
So this is more from e-invoicing side. If we wanted a QR code on B2C invoice, so we have provision for it. Like if you want to print that QR code, dynamic QR code, along with that your UPI or electronic payment details, so that we can facilitate for it. We have option for printing B2C transaction. In fact, for some of the customers, we have implemented this B2C transaction invoices.
Okay. Is there any SAP version limitation for digital signature?
No, absolutely no. Any SAP version we can do that. Only for mass printing, we need to be in EHP 6 and above. So if we are below EHP 6, mass printing option will not work. So, but still we can digitally sign the invoice document either in a single or mass, but printing of mass will not happen. Any version of SAP ECC 6 and EHP 6 and above, we'll be able to do that full-fledged application. If it is below EHP level, except mass printing, rest all will work as it is.
Okay. One question from Mr. Keyur. Are these invoices dumped into any folder to convert it in PDF, and then will it be signed and reposted to SAP DMS?
We can do that also. Here there would be a time delay. There would be a time delay of about 1 minute. So there what happens, the invoice is generated, it comes to that FTP folder, adds a digital signature, and then signed copy again. There is a background job runs and takes a signed copy and attach it back to DMS. So this is a kind of disconnected architecture also, we can do that.
Okay. Question from Mr. Sagar. How does e-Invoice solve my reconciliation issues with my suppliers?
E-Invoice to the large extent, like in terms of whatever current invoices we have, we are going to have a digitally uploaded invoice detail. So it will definitely improve that reconciling part, but it will not, I mean, the all reconciliation will happen as it is what today we are having it. That's all.
Okay. Next question is, how much time will it take to capture information from IRP portal to the ERP system?
So this happens in a split second. It depends on network, but what we have seen is like even in a kind of very low network speed also, it takes a split second for generating IRN. The moment we call that ERP, within split second, we'll get that IRN number back to that system.
Okay. We have one more question. Need to integrate with SAP. One invoice is getting saved in different SAP table. If I'm getting IRN number from IRP portal, how will it get stored in the SAP table while invoice is already generated?
Like here,
yeah.
So here the IRN number will be stored back to that the moment when we generate that IRN API, we get that IRN number, we'll be storing into that any available field in that header table, or that if note is implemented, standard field itself will store this IRN number. And then SAP doesn't store that any of those signed or the PDF form as it is. And every time when we hit a print, it takes always from a database. So that way, like we get that data with an IRN number. So that is how it is implemented for multiple customers as of now.
Okay. We would like to take up more questions. Before that, I would like to quickly launch another poll. Okay. I hope you are seeing this on your screens. Would you like our sales team to reach out to you for further discussion? We'd like to know that. And I will close this in the next 1 minute. Okay, thank you all. I'll be ending the poll. Yeah, so Mr. Bala, I hope you are okay to take up a few more questions.
Sure.
Okay, so another question from Mr. Keyur. Are you providing smart form to PDF converter?
Yes, we do provide as part of the solution.
Okay. There's one more question. Can we have the invoices digitally signed?
Absolutely. Like that is exactly the solution does that. Any invoices which are generated, we can add a digital signature. So this is holds good for both sales invoices as well as finance invoices what is generated.
Okay. One more question followed. SAP table is getting updated before getting IRN number, or is it after getting the IRN number?
So SAP tables at first level, the moment invoice is generated, it will get updated. So then once IRN is generated, we'll go back and update that only that respective field for an existing invoice document.
Okay. Yeah. So we'd like to see a few more questions. We've got these many as of now. So any questions there is regarding integration or implementation, you can simply put it on the chat box. Once again, thank you all for joining. So we will also be showing a platform-based e-invoice generation demo, which we will be doing it in the next 5-10 minutes. So please hang around with us. Until then, we can take up a few more questions. Yeah, so Mr. Bala, we have a few more questions. One from Mr. Ganesh. Is there any batch processing?
Yes, we can. It's like if when there is a mass document to be signed, we can enable the batch processing mode. So where that once the invoice is generated on the given interval, digital signature will be added.
Okay. Question from Mr. Suresh. We are using web GST portal. Need to enable digital signature. Will that be possible, Mr. Bala?
We can do that. We can do that. Yeah.
All right. So I think we can take up a few more questions for the next 5 minutes before we get into the e-invoice generation demo. Yeah, we have one question from Mr. Dhaval. Is it possible for Oracle ERP based software? Mr. Dhaval, I think a little more clarity will be good on that. Did you mean to ask, can we integrate Oracle ERP? Yeah, so looks like he meant that, Mr. Bala.
So we can do it with Oracle ERP. So for some of the customers like GE Aviation and a few more customers, we have implemented for on Oracle ERP. We have implemented.
Okay. All right. So another few minutes we will take up questions. So let us wait for that before we get into the demo. All right. So looks like we don't have any other questions. So we can get into the e-invoice generation demo itself on our platform. So here today we have with us Mr. Pran, who is our sales manager heading Tamil Nadu region. He has been with us since GST became a reality itself and has handled multiple sessions, webinars on GST, e-waybill, and e-invoicing automation. We are glad to have you here with us, Mr. Pran. You can take it forward. So I will stop sharing. You can take it forward from here.
Yeah, thanks, Siddharth.
Yeah.
Yeah, good afternoon all. So, so what I'm going to show is the e-invoice generation tool of our platform. So, so in our platform, we have multiple features where you can actually do the GSTR filings, reconciliation, e-waybill generation, and e-invoice generation, which has actually got rolled out from October. So we have all the features. So based on your requirement, we'll be enabling the feature which you subscribe to. And over the screen, what you see is the dashboard of e-invoicing. And here you can see how many have been generated, cancelled, not generated, and error records in our platform. So this platform reflects in case like you do a direct integration, as well as if you do a manual upload, or if you have the SFTP approach, which we have. So in all these options, you will have the dashboard reflected with the values, how many been generated, cancelled, not generated, error records. And here you can see GST invoice or company-wise details on generation. So you can see for a specific GST and how many have been generated, cancel, all that. So apart from this integrated approach, we still have the option of manual upload. So here you can directly fill up our templates and do a bulk upload. Just give me a minute. I'll just show you the screen Excel file where you can do the upload. Just give me a moment.
Also, if there's any questions related to the demo side of the platform, we will be happy to take that up as well. You can simply put your queries on the chat box. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm just opening up the Excel file. Yeah, so what you see on screen is our template where you can actually fill in all the details required in terms of the seller details, the transaction types, whether it's a B2B invoice or a import export invoice. Similarly, seller details, buyer details, dispatch details, similarly shipping details, the ship to GSTN. Similarly, the item details, like you have the HSN related information, all that can be fed here. Similarly, batch details, what is the batch expiry? So some of the details are not mandatory. Some of them are mandatory. So we'll be, when you get onboarded, we'll be going through a detailed session where you'll be making you understand what are the mandatory fields you need to fill and what are the non-mandatory fields. Similarly, you have payment details. Then we have reference details also, export details if it's an export related invoice. And so similarly, we have even e-Waybill details. So this like template which I'm showing is a bit outdated, but we have the e-Waybill details also, which can be filled in. So in a single transaction, you can actually have the e-Waybill as well as the IRN generated in the same push. In a single push, you can actually do it. So there are multiple ways. Either you can do the transaction in a single shot, or if you want to generate the IRN and then the e-Waybill, that's also possible. So government has released the APIs for both. Coming back to the platform, so you can actually upload this Excel file over here. So you can create a report from your ERP in the same manner and then upload it onto the platform. Once uploaded, then you have the option to generate. So I'm selecting a set of transactions which has already been generated. Yeah. So what you see on screen is some of them is already generated. You can see the IRN number. Some of them are not generated. So you can filter it out based on like different parameters. One is GST number, what is the from and to document number, as well as the record type. So in the record type, you can have option of not generated. So whatever transaction where there is no generation happen, that you can filter it out. Similarly, you can even filter out for generated ones. So these are the generated ones. And if you want to see the details, you can click on it and you can view the details actually. So this is the transaction summary details of it. Similarly, if you want to, once this is generated, like once you click on generate, like you have the option of generation over here. So you can bulk select it. So here you can see the non-generated ones. You can select all and you can generate e-invoice. So if you click generate e-invoice, automatically all this set of invoices will have e-invoice getting generated in a span of a couple of minutes. Similarly, if you want to cancel, you have the option to cancel. You can very well select the GST number from and to, what is the IRN number, what is the reason and remarks, and you can cancel that invoice. So this you can even do with the integration. So you don't have to come to our portal or government portal. If you're doing a direct integration with any of your standard ERP or custom ERP, there is an API for it, and you can we can do the customization for you. Similarly, there is view and print option where you can select the specific GSTN and you can select the invoice which you want. So you can see here, this is a particular invoice with IRN number, and you can see on screen the IRN, the invoice with the QR code. So this is very well available for download in the form of a PDF also. So anytime you want to take a printout or you want to attach it and send to the client, that is also possible. Apart from this, when you do the integration, you don't have to depend on our template. You can very well use your own template because we'll be building in the QR code in your in the standard smart form or Oracle based reports. Plus we have reports also in the system. So once you generate and at any point you want to pull out the reports, the possibility is there. So you can download bulk all set of invoices which you have generated, e-invoices. So you can select it, which all you want, and you can bulk select it and then do a export. So which will give you all the IRN details and the invoice numbers. Similarly, in the portal also, we have built e-Waybill generation with the new set of APIs which government has given, apart from the e-Waybill APIs, which is already present in the system, and many of the customers are live for the last 2 years. So here again, government has given the new API where you can actually generate manually also. Plus, you can generate with the integration, with the setup, with the help of APIs. So that comes to the end of platform demo. So Siddharth, maybe we can take up questions.
Yes, definitely, Mr. Pran. So thanks for the demo, Mr. Pran. We can take up questions for the next 5-10 minutes. I hope that's okay. Joining. Our team will be reaching out to you shortly in the next 1 week. If in case you would like any one-on-one kind of discussions or anything that is, let's say you want a detailed demo or even a discussion, that will be facilitated within the next 1 week. We're looking forward to a few more questions. There's one question from Mr. Keyur. He is asking, are we storing customer data?
So I'll take up this question.
Okay.
If you are using our ASP APIs, yes, we are storing the data. The data is actually getting pushed into our platform, and then we are sending it to NIC. But in case if you are using our GSP APIs, no, it acts as a tunnel, and the data gets it's a pass-through API. So when you push the data, it will be directly getting transferred to NIC, and from whatever information we get back from NIC, it's been passed on to you. Nowhere the data is getting stored. So you can opt which API you want to go in case if you're looking for an integration.
Another question from him again. Can we get staging environment access to exploring in details?
Yeah, so definitely, yes, we can provide staging. We have a sandbox environment. So if you want to try out our sandbox APIs, yes, you're most welcome. As we can give you with a set of limited support where you can try out and see how the response all comes in.
Yeah, Mr. Keyur, I hope that answers your question. One question, can we take print of invoices from the reports as shown?
Siddharth, is it related to our platform or it's related
to...
Yeah,
I believe this is related to our platform.
Okay, so you can so you can very well take a printout of the report. Plus, you have a PDF like invoice, e-invoice, which is coming out of our platform, which you can take a printout or even email to the customer also.
Okay, so we will be taking up a few more questions for the next 5 to 10 minutes. Okay, one question from Mr. Keshav. Can we link the e-invoice to e-Waybill for B2B and B2C supply?
Yeah, see, e-invoice is applicable only in case of it is a B2B transaction. So if it is a B2B transaction, yes, definitely you can link e-Waybill along with e-invoice generation. So yeah, it's definitely possible, not for B2C supply.
All right, so looks like we are not getting any more questions. So I think we can close it with this. I hope that's okay with Mr. Pran, Bala, and Mr. Arjun.
Yes, sir. It's fine.
Fine, sir.
Yeah. Okay, so thank you all for joining once again. And like I said, like I mentioned earlier, we will reach out to you shortly. And thank you so much. Thank you all. Thank you, Mr. Pran. Thank you, Mr. Bala. Thank you, Mr. Arjun. Thanks a lot for your time. So we will close it with this. Have a good evening, all of you. Thank you.